Did I get that right? God bless you. How are you, sir? You got a question about property taxes?
Yeah, this is, New Jersey has the highest property taxes in the country.
I've heard.
And they keep going up mostly due to ever-increasing salaries of the state and local employees. When will you take all this into account and help long-suffering middle class?
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because I was in a discussion with one of the individual from the Associates of Counties, and he said that the salaries are eating a huge chunk.
Okay.
And the salaries of state workers are on average higher than what they're in the private sector.
Okay. So Shankar, thank you. Hold on. Let's hear it for the question. So let's hear it for Shankar. So a couple of premises I'm going to take exception with, and I respect the question. We do have, let there be no doubt, and we inherited this, and we're doing everything we can. We have among, if not the highest property taxes in the country. And it's not enough, I think you heard me say this earlier, it's not enough to say you get a lot of stuff back for that, which we're proud of. We got to make sure we're continuing to do that, but we got to make our state more affordable. And the affordability question invariably comes, particularly for the middle class, or I was in a family, working poor family, dreaming someday to get into the middle class, and we did own a home. And my parents barely made ends meet. The key is we are the quintessential middle class state, so it's got to work, right? We have, again, the notion of public sector workers making more than private sector workers, I don't think that's true. I think the public sector folks here, educators today are taking home in many cases less than they did 10 years ago, as an example. And that includes, and Shango, that includes not just, I'm broadening also the definition from salaries, but also to include benefits as well. And so our mission has been, since we got into office, and it'll continue to be this way, as an example in healthcare, to save money, and we've saved hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in the delivery of healthcare without making the individual either pay more for the healthcare or alternatively accept lesser quality healthcare. We have fewer employees at the state level today than we did when I took office. So there's also another narrative that we're drunken sailors and we're out I didn't recognize you, General, with your civvies. That we're out there just hog wild hiring people. I think a lot. Mac, you tell me. How do you look for headcount today versus a couple of years ago? You're lower. So Mac is lower in North Brunswick. You got a lot of county level. Beatrice and Kevin McCabe run the Democratic Party here brilliantly, but I'm not asking you as a Democrat as much as Ron Rios would say if he were here, and their belt is, yeah. So you got a lot of levels of government that are really, we have no choice, right? So this is a state that's still digging out of a recession 10 years ago. We're finally back on our feet. But you should know one thing, I promise you this, we are obsessed with, committed to breaking the back of the property tax reality in this state, period. But we got to do it. I'll give you one example that's been raised with me, which is intriguing, but I'll tell you what you get back for it. Someone said to me, a couple of people said to me, hey, by the way, because I mentioned earlier 53% of your property tax bill is for public education. So a couple of people have said to me over the years, hey, you know, in Georgia, and I'm not picking on Georgia, so don't get mad at me, when you retire, when you get to a certain age, either when you retire or you're a certain age, you don't have to pay that part of the property tax bill. Well, you'd like that, right? But guess what? And I'm not saying this to be a jerk about Georgia. Check their public schools out, right? So you get you want to remember I said earlier we want to have it both ways, and that's affordability and delivering the stuff that we have in New Jersey. I will say this: the word increase is going to be in my final sentence. And I wish it were decrease, but you should know that our first 2 years in office were the #1 and #4 lowest increases in property taxes on record. So we are happy about that, but it's still increase. We want to bring it down. So thanks for asking that.